everybody, welcome to iFan's Christmas special. What we're going to be doing today is a whole series of interesting Christmas recipes. Let me introduce mine. This is the world's fudgiest brownies ever, and I'm going to tell you why, but first let me melt a butter and I tell you how I chanced upon this recipe. A few things while I show you. I am an amateur baker, okay guys. I started baking exactly a year ago, and interestingly this recipe was introduced to me a year ago by none other, I don't know, many of you must be familiar with her. You've seen her in the studio, by Nandita Iyer of Saffron Trail. And Nandita had once come over to my home and we had lunch. Lunch moved into evening, and it was amazing how easily she literally whipped this perfect brownies. I have never ever bought a store brownie after this, and I asked her how she made it, because it was one pot, it was rather one dish. It was so effortless and it happened so quickly and it was amazing. She then sent me the link to this recipe. I'm going to be very nice and I'm going to share the link in the description of this video. Trust me when I say it is literally the world's fudgiest brownies ever. So the first thing is, after the butter melts, the things that you will need for this recipe, very simple. With the butter you need sugar, flour or maida, cocoa, unsweetened cocoa, vanilla essence, salt, and there's some oil. I think when I read the recipe, there was one thing that she said, it's the oil that makes it really very moist. So one of the secret ingredients to this brownie is actually the oil, so don't miss that oil. Nothing smells as good as melted butter. Okay, so before I forget, you have to lightly grease your pan. One lesson in baking I have learned in my 1 year of trying to bake is that always keep everything ready. So it's not stuff that you're scrambling for afterwards. So here we take the 1 cup of sugar. So I remember when Nandita made it, she actually told me you can reduce the sugar. But I just want to be safe, because you know that you get that perfect crackling top, etc. And then I'm adding the butter and the most important ingredient, because that's what the recipe says, oil is really important for the moistness. I have to beat this for about a minute. Okay, so this is it. So that's my sugar, oil and butter beaten for about a minute. I'm very precise guys, I put a timer. Now after this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to crack the eggs. One thing I learned in baking is that always have your eggs at room temperature. It's a mistake I made. I would sometimes have them cold from the fridge. It never worked. Here's the second egg that goes in. So after all of this, and then I need to put the vanilla essence. So that too went in. Now this I'm going to beat for about a minute. The whole idea is it should change color. Okay. So yeah, it's about, and as I told you, I'm guys going to put a timer. Don't want to take a chance here. Yeah. So my minute starts now. I basically work with the team at iFan, and we're the ones who are always trying to see how can we get the best recipes across to you guys. So this is also one attempt, you know, curating some of the best recipes online. So this was a recipe I got from Nandita Iyer, and I'm going to, as I said before, the link to where she got this recipe from, I'm posting in the link below. To begin with, we will be doing it this Christmas, okay? So yeah, it's changing color. You want to beat this well. Reason is because after this you're not going to, you're going to fold it very gently, the rest of the ingredients. That's it. Now what I'm going to do is a half cup of flour or maida and half cup cocoa. Another tip, okay, which I learned through the hard way, always sift your, you know, your flour and your cocoa. So I'm just going to sift this. I have this really cool sifter at home, which my son broke. But anyway, so this is a nice one too. I mean, it's basic. And then this is your cocoa powder. like I was saying, you know, we at IFN are looking at bringing all these amazing recipes for you, which we will curate from some of the best people online. So what I would ask you guys to do is please consider sending us, every time you think there is this one amazing recipe that, you know, really turned out fabulously for you, please send it to us, because what we want to do is then literally bring that to you guys. Do a test in the kitchen and say, yes, this surely is the world's best recipe for XYZ. So this one is coming to you because it is literally the world's fudgiest brownies. You will see. Okay. Now the key. Okay. The salt. Listen, salt in baking, guys, always brings this amazing taste. So I remember when Nandita made it, what she did was literally grind some salt even on top before it baked, and it was amazing. I think chocolate and salt is a fabulous combination. Now what I'm going to do is, I think this is the thing that the recipe, when you go to that to the link Cafe Delight, you will see they keep warning you about, do not overmix. If you overmix this recipe, what will happen is you will it will get airy. It will be very cakey like, and it is the fudgiest brownie, right? So we don't want it cakey. So it's about how carefully you don't overmix this recipe. Okay, so that's it. It's the kind of batter that you will probably land up eating a lot of just while making it. Another lesson I've learned in my 1 year, you know, sometimes I see that the flour is still not mixed or the cocoa is not mixed or something. Apparently you should not worry about it. It all just settles during the baking process. This is the baking tray. So if you look at another thing I've learned in my 1 year of baking is that your sizes of pots, you know, your pans and your bakeware matters a lot. I would say if you really want to start baking, getting good quality ones is a good idea, because the temperature that at which it heats, etc., matters. So in this, she has said, in this particular recipe, she says that 8 by 10 is the best size for a 16 serve of brownie. This one is an 8 by 8, but anyway, that's what we have here. So now I'm pouring this batter in. So you'll see some parts it looks like it's not mixed properly, but I assume that that's okay. Okay, another thing I've learned, or I've read in many places, is you know, when you drop it on the counter, I think it, I'm not sure, but I think it supposedly, it does something. It takes out the air bubbles or whatever. Anybody who knows the what is it, please let me know. And now I'm going to be adding some of this. I think this is a lot of chocolates. I'm going to stop here. Okay. So I will. What I will also tell you is what we did is we baked one set earlier. Because as you know, I have a day job. My day job is I have to go and attend to a whole bunch of things. So I cannot wait for the brownie to bake exactly. I'm going to show you how those brownies turned out. But this is the one that has the shavings. That one didn't have it. Okay, and I'm going to now put this in the oven. What she said in this recipe, she said put it on the top. Put it on top, don't put it in the middle, because apparently when you put it on top it doesn't dry out as much and it becomes very fudgy. And what I'm going to do is, she said 23.5 minutes. I'm literally going to put it for 23.5 minutes. Okay. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is let me just clear all of this up. And remember I told you that we've already done one batch of brownies, so Mrinal's going to help me. She's going to get me this set of brownies. This is what we baked. Unfortunately, we have a day job, so we have to get on. So I'm just going to show you what is it that we baked. You can see it's nice and raised. It has a crackly top. This one is a bit different from the one that's already there. This one does not have the chocolate chips or shavings on top. Okay. So yeah, this is it. And I'm not great at styling, guys, but I think the proof is in the taste. Who's coming to taste this? That's a team that works all the time on all your recipes. So let them have a bite and let's see what they say, whether it is the world's fudgiest brownie.
Wow, it's yum.
Yum? Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay guys, so that's a wrap from us this Christmas. and hope you like this recipe. We're going to leave the link behind. A big thank you to Nandita, who was the first one to introduce me to this recipe. We'd like to begin the series where we curate and bring some of the best recipes to you. So all of you who are watching, if you feel you chanced upon that recipe, that one amazing recipe which is your go-to recipe for that particular dish every time, send it to us. We will make it at the iFan kitchen and share it with the world. Good recipes deserve to be shared. So here's to a great Christmas, and here's to many more recipes from us at iFan. See you guys. Bye.